Okay, so this is going to be a settings video. I recommend this particular map. It's pretty good for setting up your settings. So if you need to see what the information is on that, see the island code 5112-1759-8096 made by Zero Build. Don't know this guy, but I gotta give credit where credit's due. That is a very well set up map. You should probably like and support him. I highly recommend the map. So, without further ado, let's go into this and I'll show you how to do some of your settings. Hopefully I can explain this well enough that you'll understand, and maybe it'll help you out a little bit. I will go ahead and give you all of my settings somewhat slowly to try to make it available to you if you just want to copy. That's completely fine. So when you get in here, you're going to want to select whatever guns it is that you normally use. I recommend using the ones here because they are the ones that are currently in the maps. If you want other guns, you can go into this area for other gun types. I did notice that the sniper is not in the main lobby, so you'll have to pick out your sniper here, which will be, there's a blue version if you want to set it up for a sniper. Anyway, pick out your guns. You can test them out here. You can mod them here as well. You can also mod them at the main area. There's a mod bench. Alright, so for aiming purposes, currently I have gyro aiming on, so you've probably seen it jerking a little bit. I'll show you how to set that up. So first I want to turn the gyro aiming off. Alright, hit apply. Okay, so the way you want to set your aim up, first you want to go into a target area such as this aim section. Alright, so if you want to set up your horizontal tracking, so you can set up close range, which would be like for SMGs. Or shotguns. Alright, and you want to have your tracking where you can actually go faster than the target. Controlled enough to where you can still hit the target. So my turning speed is going to be probably, I don't know, double the speed of the, roughly. And the way we're going to set that up, you go to your settings. you go over to the tab for the controller, and you're going to want to go down to the sensitivity section. Alright, so the sensitivity, that's your left, right, your up, down, or your horizontal and vertical speeds. Now, if you don't use advanced options like I do, you're just going to be adjusting your look sensitivity or your aim sensitivity to a comfortable level for your playstyle. And obviously, the higher the number, the faster you're going to be turning, or the faster you're going to be looking up and down. Now, once you've determined those, your build mode sensitivity is a multiplier of those. Alright? What that means, if you look at my advanced look sensitivity, my horizontal speed is set at 32%, which is slower, if you notice, than the line that's on there. So my horizontal speed at 32% multiplied by 1.8 is my horizontal speed in build mode, which means if I have my blueprints out when I'm building, whatever my horizontal speed is multiplied by 1.8 or whatever I set it at. So I could have it set at 2.4 if I wanted to. The look horizontal speed, 32%, multiplied by 1.8 is what mine is. If I had it set at 2.4, my horizontal speed of 32% is going to be multiplied when I have my blueprints out by 2.4. So to put that in perspective, 32% will now be 64% plus whatever the 0.4% is. Okay? If that makes sense mathematically. But I have mine set at, I believe it was 1.8. Alright. So I'm not going to save that because I don't want to mess with them. I've got my settings where I like them. But for now, what we're going to do, I'm going to show you the settings for the guns. So, go down to your sensitivity. The build mode and the edit mode, that's just for whenever you're building or editing. Again, edit's going to be the same as the build. Your horizontal speed is going to be multiplied by whatever your number is there. Your vertical speed is going to be multiplied by whatever the number is there. Alright. Turning horizontal boost, what that is, okay, let's say I'm tracking a target. So the turning boost for the horizontal and vertical, let's say I'm tracking a target left or right. Alright. Let's say I'm tracking along and I just can't, for whatever reason, I can't catch, see how this is, I can't catch that guy there. If I have a boost set, once the boost kicks in, what's going to happen is it's going to go faster, which means I can catch up with the bot again. Alright, so if I have it set back here and I get a boost, after the boost ramp time kicks in, the ramp time is going to be how long it takes for me to follow this guy before it says, hey, you can't catch him, so I'm going to give you a little bit more. Alright, so that's what your boost ramp time is. Alright, and it's the same thing with the horizontal, or not horizontal, vertical. So if you want to check out your vertical, okay, there's your tracking. And if I can't catch the guy, if I had a boost, it would kick in after a certain amount of time. Whatever it is, I have the boost ramp time set. It'll kick in and allow me to catch that target. So that's what that does. And again, that's under your advanced settings. If you don't have advanced settings set, your sensitivity is going to be this. So you're going to have your dead zones, you're going to have your normal sensitivity is just going to be whatever you have this set up at. You could just increase it if you wanted. I like to have the advanced options because I like to tinker with this stuff a little bit more in depth and to get it adjusted the way I like it. Now your turning horizontal boost under your advanced options, that's the boost I was just talking about. The boost ramp time, that's how long before that boost actually gets in, kicks in. Instant boost when building. So if I go into build mode, I like mine to have it kick in immediately, so there's no like pause in the amount of, if I'm turning, for example, it's not going to turn slowly and then the boost kick in and I turn really fast and then throw my build off. Okay, so that's what I have that set for. Okay, so the ADS. Now the difference between the turning and the ADS is basically just I'm aiming down sights is what ADS means. So that means when I'm looking through my scope. Through my scope, my ADS sensitivities, my speed for ADS for aim down sights or through my scope is going to be what we're looking at. So this is regular without a scope. And this is looking through the scope. Alright. Your turning boost I have set lower on this. Again, that's all your own personal preferences. The ramp time still at 15 seconds. I don't like it. I like to have the turning boost kick in a little bit slower than I do when I'm looking down my scope. That's just a preference thing. The horizontal speed, I like to, I've got it set fairly close to my regular sensitivity settings. Now the look dampening time, that's so when you initially put the when that boost gets ready to kick in, you can put a dampener on that, or when your movement kicks in, you can put a dampening on that. Which a dampening, what it will do is it slowly ramps up to the whatever it was that you have it set to. So instead of just kicking boost right in, it will gradually kick a boost in. So it allows it for, just minor adjustments to how strong your boost kicks in. Aim assist strength, always have it 100%. That's a personal thing. Your exponential as opposed to linear. Linear is the way I like to describe it. It's more for your like flick stick kind of players, people that do flick shots. So if you're the type that likes a more controlled, like a sniper, for example, if you like to have a more controlled, gradual turn, that's really the way to go, is with exponential. If you're not, and a lot of people aren't, they're just like run in, start shooting, that's fine. linear might be the way to go for that. So now your dead zone, to set that, if you notice when you're on your controller and you get a yellow area like this, whenever you wiggle your controller in your hand, if you start getting yellow circles like that on the right, you want to adjust your dead zone so it's going to compensate for that, so that you don't get what they call stick drift. If I don't have stick drift, whenever I release that, there's no yellow. If I have stick drift, it's going to be slightly off like that, for example. And once you wear a stick out a little bit or break it in, you have a tendency to get a little bit of stick drift. So to compensate for that, to make it last a little bit longer, I usually set my dead zone at around 8 or 9%, sometimes 10. The reason being, it just makes it longer with a new controller before I have to mess with anything. I don't really put anything as far as the adaptive triggers goes. That's something if you use, basically it's like applying pressure. You can adjust the tension, and it makes it similar to a real guns trigger if you use that. But I don't like to use that just because I find it makes your controllers last less time, and the working parts in there eventually wear out, and it's just something else for me to have to worry about replacing. So I don't use adaptive triggers. I mean, you can if you like it. If money's not a problem, I'm a poor man, so I don't have a whole lot of cash to go throwing down that kind of thing. But if it doesn't phase you and you like that, that's what you got. So from a settings point, these are all of my settings currently. Go from the top. There's all your inputs. There's quick weapon I don't have turned on. Sensitivity settings. ADS, which is, again, that's aim down sights. And remember, horizontal is left or right. Vertical is up and down. ADS means you have to be looking through your scope. Sensitivity, just a plain sensitivity, is not looking through your scope. That's just your turning. Right? Now your advanced sensitivity, if you don't use that, you remember you're adjusting lower numbers of things, which is fine. If you can find a good sensitivity that works well for you, you might set it at 5 and never have a problem, or 8 and never have a problem. But if you want to do the advanced stuff, now you kind of have an idea what that does. Alright. Now we've gone over all of my personal settings. On the touch options, gyro aiming, I'm going to turn that back on just because I like to use it. Active mode, I have it set to always, because active mode is when the gyro is working. I like to have it set for building always as well, and I just use a very light amount of gyro. The look stick effects, that's your analog sticks. So if I move one of my analog sticks, it just disables the gyro. I also have a gyro button that disables the gyro. Alright, so what you want to do is go up to your controller mapping, and you go down to where it says gyro. And you're going to want to set whatever button you, I like to use the pickaxe button. Excuse me again. But you want to set something to where it's a gyro modifier, which causes the gyro button to have a certain effect on the gyro, which is to disable the gyro. So what that will do, just to put it in perspective, so if I have my gyro settings on, if I'm aiming down this, you see how if I'm moving my controller up and down, it moves along with, you know, I am literally physically moving my controller up and down in my hand, the whole controller. And this is physically moving left and right with the whole controller. Alright, if I want to disable the gyro though, if I hit my triangle and hold it down, and I move I'm moving my controller up and down now, nothing. Left and right, still nothing. Alright, what that allows you to do is, if you go up, I can set it up to a certain height, hit that triangle button, and then I can get my hands in a more comfortable position again. Then I can go back to moving. Alright, so that's the way you want to have that set up. Now, if I want to shoot that target, I can use gyro. Right? You see, I'm not doing very well at shooting it, but I just got minimal amounts. And if I use my sticks now to go up and down, left and right, it disables that gyro option. So what I'll do, like say I want to go shoot that character over there, with my gyro settings I go over here and I'm pretty close. Now I zoom in and I use my stick because it disables the gyro, which allows me to get on target faster. Alright, so I'm over here, now I'm over there, and I'm targeted in. See what I'm saying? So this is vertical, this is horizontal. Horizontal is left to right, vertical is up and down. Alright, so if I want to set this up, now I can set it for different ranges here. If I want a long range, like for a sniper for example, I've got a target down there. Then I can adjust for the range. And figure out how far I gotta be. So we were like 2 notches on the one part and 2 notches there, so 3 notches up and down. So we're 3 notches horizontally, or vertically rather, and roughly about 2 notches vertically. Alright. Now if you want to see what the difference is on the reaction time, and check all that. See what your adjustments need to be. So you go over here, you do your left and right adjustments. You go over here, you do your up and down adjustments. Once you get everything where you can target the bot really well, then you go over and you do it aiming down your sights. So there's your ADS aiming. That's left and right. This is up and down. Alright, so now we've got the reaction test, and you can start a game there. You can also check out your SMG, how good you are at following the target. So once we find the target, there he is. Gives you a very good, and you can do this, like if you need to jump over obstacles and duck underneath while targeting. Anyway, you get the point on that one. Assault rifle tracking. You can turn one shot on, or and you do get experience from this map while you're doing your setups, which is also a really awesome thing to have. You have this area for checking out, you know, like if you got people jumping and whatnot. If you have people jumping around, it gives you a chance to try to get your tracking on par. Crosshair training. Tells you how to play it. So, play 360 mode. Float mode was this. point is, it is very well set up the way they have this. Got up and down, horizontal, reaction, 360, stuff to where you're jumping, that sort of thing. It's a very well done map. You can also go through and do piece control or building. Just remember when you're doing builds, so see how I've got my pencil and my blueprints out? That's what the build mode is, okay? Whenever I'm editing, this is my edit mode. So the higher my edit mode sensitivity, the faster I'm going to be able to go like that. And this is where, like I said, the gyro comes in handy. So I can just move my controller. Alright. So this is your build mode sensitivity will be, this is what you do when you're doing your multipliers. So if I don't have my build mode sensitivity set right, when I get to turn from here to here, it's going to go slower if I have a low build mode sensitivity. The faster I get it, or the higher the number, the faster this goes. So if I don't have it set high enough, I'm going to be in a situation where I got to build a wall, and I'm looking at the wall with my blueprints out, and it's just going to go really slow. Same thing, only on the opposite end. If I have it set too high, I go to turn and put this wall up. If I have it set too high, I'm going to turn way the heck over the other side maybe, or turn way too fast. Alright, so find that happy spot where when you turn and you go to, do you think that your wall should be placed? That's when it actually places. That's what you're looking at as far as build mode sensitivity. Right, but you want to have your regular sensitivity set first, doing what I just did with the machine guns and the assault rifles or whatever. You want to get that sensitivity set first, because the build mode is a multiplier of those sensitivities. So it takes the original sensitivity and multiplies it by whatever your number is. Same way with the edit mode. If you go into edit mode, the edit is a sensitivity multiplier. So it takes those original movement numbers, the horizontal and the vertical, and it multiplies it. If you have it set too high on your edit, when you go here, like to do those 3 boxes, for example, instead of it doing the edit the way it should, if you have it set too high, you're going to go to do those 3, and you might be all the way over here by the time it stops. Now you've got an edit that isn't going to work. Whereas you want it to go here, here, and here. Only there. Alright? So instead of getting this, if you have it set too high, you're going to get, and now it's just the same thing again. Alright, you're never going to get the edit done. But if you have it set correctly, when you do you're only doing those 3. or that one, or those three. So if you go, you're going to end up doing an extra one if it's set too high. So if it's set too high, you're going to go, and it's going to do, look at that. That's just set too many. Alright. What you want is be able to control it. If you have it set too low, exactly the opposite problem. You're going to click here to do this, and it's going to go this slow. Now it takes you forever to do your edit, when all you wanted to do was one swift motion. Alright? Too slow. Just right. Alright? One thing I would recommend on your settings, on your building settings, the pre-edit option, you can edit, say for example you have a cone. Alright, if you disable the option to edit beforehand, what you're going to end up with, well, I'll just show you to explain it to you. So if the pre-edit option is on, the disable option is on. If I go to do a cone, I'm going to get a cone. Alright, well, I can, if I don't have the disable pre-edit option on, I can edit this. See how it's blue? I can edit this. Alright, right now it's disabled, so when I go to do a cone, it's always going to be a cone. Alright, if I have it set to where it's not disabled, I can edit this before I place it, right? Well, the problem is, okay, if I edit this, now every time I go to put a cone, it's going to be that shape. Alright, so if I do my cone, see, the next time it's going to be that same shape. It's already pre-edited. That's what the pre-edit is, which is kind of neat, but not very practical. Alright, so, I mean, it's neat because I can do things like make different structures, for example. So let's say, now there's my pre-edit. If you're wanting to do something like they call this a Dorito ramp brush. Alright, so I didn't come up with a name. The creator of the design made it. I just happen to know that's what it's called. It's an interesting thing. Alright, and what you end up with is a really cool looking pattern. Alright, doing stuff like that is really neat. I mean, but is it really, it's not really practical, okay? If you'd like to be able to do that stuff, that's fine as well. Just re-enable it if you feel like messing around with that kind of thing. I don't, however, see a need for it in regular games, so I typically leave it off, which is just a matter of going in your settings, go to your building, disable the pre-edit, hit apply. Alright, reset building choice. These are all preferences. That's just the way I have mine set up. And another thing you'll want to do, get your controller binds down correctly. So if something's easier mentally, like if something's easier for you to remember, like, I don't know, R1 for me is my ramp. If that's easier for you to remember it that way, then put that button as whatever it's easiest for you to remember. Okay? But be careful when you do that sort of thing, because sometimes it does change your other settings. So you may end up having to do a little bit of tinkering to get everything the way you like it. But you notice once you get it down, it's really not that difficult. Alright, hopefully this has helped you all out in some way. I think that pretty much covers everything. If you have any questions, feel free to contact me. And you have a great rest of your day. Grim Deathmate. And I'll see you on the game maybe. Have a good day.